a Canadian radio sanctuary podcast. Red shirts on lifeguards at the beach are as much a part of summer as the sand and sizzle of the season. Outside lifeguarding is usually a summer job for high school or university students. That's the case with 22-year-old Tony Sittlinger, a 7-year veteran who's watching over Trout Lake in East Vancouver.
There are a large number that go to school and enhance their income in the summer, but a lot of them have been in the system for a long time. We have a lot of guards that have been here for many years, 20, 25 years.
Now, what are the hours that you put in here?
We work from 11:30 to 9 for 7 days a week, from Victoria Day till Labor Day. So that's basically the entire summer, and pools open later in the season. They open once elementary schools close.
Now, what kind of training is required to become a lifeguard in the city?
You have to have your National Lifeguard Service, which includes a cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR ticket. A lot of guards have their industrial first aid ticket and various other aquatic first aid tickets. Things. It just takes a little while, just swimming lessons basically.
Is it more or less a case of just observing all the time? You sit up on the platform and just watch as much as you can?
It depends. Our location tends to be very preventative because we're very crowded. We have lots of children, and our water makes us have to work that way.
Tony admits Trout Lake's quite different for guarding than a wide open stretch like Spanish Banks or English Bay. He says Kitts Beach, for example, has more sunbathers than swimmers due to the cooler ocean temperature. 34-year-old John Douglas has been a lifeguard for 5 years, getting into it later in life than most. He watches over English Bay in the summer.
I was just taking some exercising, swimming courses, and one thing led into another, and I ended up getting my NLS qualifications and CPR, and just found out eventually that I was able to qualify for working for the Parks Board, and so it's a pleasant lifestyle in the summer.
Now, here at English Bay, is this one of the busier beaches in Greater Vancouver?
It can get quite hectic. So we do a lot of patrolling here. We get a lot of people from the West End, downtown, East Side come out here, and it's a lot of enforcement, a lot of problems on the beach that we have to stop from going into the water. A lot of alcohol and drug-related problems, that sort of thing.
So it's not always just a case of what's going on in the water then?
No, primarily it's what's going on inland. And if what's going on land is fine, then we let it go in the water. But there are a lot of people that we have to escort off the beach, and across the street, just to make sure they don't go in for a swim and not come back.
Now, there's a guard out where the slide is, out in the water. How long would one stay out there, and how often do you switch over?
Well, usually we do half-hour or 45-minute shifts.
In the off-season, John Douglas is a freelance photographer. Others are university students, lawyers, even accountants. You've got a little sand in your debit column there. Lifeguards in summer go together like barnacles and seashells, or something like that. Kitts Beach Tower is the organizing body for Vancouver's summertime outside lifeguards. According to 5-year guard John Douglas, who's based at English Bay, he's 34 years old, those staff people at Kitts tell the guards where they're to be stationed.
And in the last couple of years, I've ended up working on these eastern beaches, we call them, from Burrard Street Bridge out to 3rd Beach. And most of the time, I'm here at English Bay.
Over in East Vancouver, near Nanaimo Street, Trout Lake lifeguard Tony Sittlinger's got 7 years under his belt. Trout Lake's smaller than other outdoor beach areas, but like English Bay, has some problems with a raft.
It's not very deep. We do let people dive. It's basically there. It depends on the crowd. If it's very busy, we try to keep it for sun tanning. When it's quieter, the kids like to push each other off and wrestle and have fun there. It's a sort of a goal for the children to work up to when they're small, and a place for people to get away from the kids possibly sometimes. There are various things for it. It's just can't do much with it. There's no slide or no diving board.
All lifeguards, as expected, have to take a test or physical examination each year to make sure they qualify, much the same way a football player does when he weighs in. Can you see William Refrigerator Perry as a lifeguard? Moby Fridge. Lifeguarding has always touched on the romantic. Seeing a guard at the beach symbolizes not only a good security beach blanket, especially if children tag along, but a symbol of summer itself, a time to love life and the sounds and smells and visions of the warmest season. Tony Sitlinger's 22 years old. He's been a guard 7 years and is on duty at Trout Lake in East Van.
You have to be 16 to be a lifeguard and to have your National Lifeguard Service. And you have to be 17 to lifeguard alone. And there always have to be 2 lifeguards or a lifeguard and a cashier working in one location.
But I mean, as far as getting older, is there a cutoff point?
So far, I don't think anyone's gone right through to retirement. I'm not sure on that, but there are some people that have stuck around for a long time, been guarding, for instance, one person on the list since 1955. He's been guarding this year. He won't be here. He will be back next year, and it's quite a while so far. Still there.
So as long as you keep in shape and you can still do it, that's all that matters.
If you're in shape and you're ready to go, you come back for the season, keep your qualifications up, you're there.
Now, are there, let's say in the case of someone who's over 40, would they have to be tested or checked out? Or?
We all have to do the same fitness requirements every year, and we're all tested.
Through the summer in Vancouver, there are 168 guards at the outdoor pools and beaches. Not all summertime lifeguards carry on with that work when Labor Day hits. That's often it for many of them, until next year. They go back to school, travel, or go to other jobs. 22-year-old Tony Sitlinger has been a lifeguard 7 years. He's now at Trout Lake in East Vancouver. When the fall comes, he's either at university or traveling. Tony says a few guard year-round.
Some lifeguards work indoors as lifeguards in community pools. Some work as instructors. Some work for extended seasons with maintenance involving the pools and beach locations. But any work that, say, indoor lifeguarding is in another field, like it's another management section, so we have to apply for those jobs separately. That's not connected, it's just for the summer season.
Out of 168 lifeguards covering outdoor pools and beaches in Vancouver during the summer months, about 20 are women. 20 years ago, Kathy Town signed up as a young guard. Now 34, she lifeguards at Kitts Beach and Pool.
It started as a summer job and put me through university, and then I decided why not do work that I enjoyed, so I stayed with it.
Now, what do you do in the off-season?
I'm a mother. I have 2 children, 2 preschoolers, and so lifeguarding now is my mental sanity because I get to get out of the house and talk to people about things other than Sesame Street.
The administrative end of lifeguarding on city beaches comes from Kathy Town's base at Kitts Tower. What happens to outdoor lifeguards when it rains? Do they shrivel up and die? No, but they may end up staying home. 34-year-old Kathy Town's very tuned into the system as a 20-year veteran, as a city guard and the head lifeguard at Kitsilano.
There are 40 lifeguards in the system who are guaranteed their days of work, 5 days a week. There are other lifeguards who have guaranteed days. You know, for example, my days off are Thursday, Friday, so somebody else would be guaranteed to work Thursday, Friday on my days off. Other than that, the other lifeguards phone in for work. If it's a hot sunny day, they may get work. If it's a cold rainy day, there won't be many people swimming, so we don't need extra lifeguards.
So how many guards for Kitts Pool and the Kitts Beach area? How many guards in all would there be on a sunny day?
Okay, permanent staff, we have about 8 people here. On any one day, there's a minimum of 5, 3 at the pool and 2 at the beach. On a busy day, for example, not this summer, but last summer, at the bathtub day, which ends here, we had 25 lifeguards between the beach and the pool that day.
Kathy says Kitts Pool pumps in filtered seawater from English Bay. However, the level's a bit down this year, so it's been topped up a little with some fresh water. Kathy Town's a fitness instructor as well, and that keeps her in shape all year. Will she be a lifeguard 20 years from now?
Well, I have a son who's 5 years old. Maybe in another 11 years when he's 16 and he can lifeguard, maybe I'll get to work with him.
The outdoor beach season officially ends on Labor Day at city beaches. I'm John Oliver.